You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off our first ever road tour, visiting some of the top shops across the country. Come along as we give you a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the most successful lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping operations and facilities and see how their businesses operate. This shop tour is brought to you by our great friends at Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. We know professionals like you trust and rely on the tools and equipment to make your business a success. And our tour partners mean business. Gear up, lock up, lace up, and line up your business for success with our 2022 Shop Tour sponsors. We'll be releasing new podcasts and YouTube videos every Monday for 8 weeks as we take you across the country on this incredible tour. Check out the full video tours on YouTube at Brian's Lawn Maintenance and catch the podcast every Monday. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. Well, hope you guys are all doing well. Well, happy Monday to all of you guys that are getting the work week started. We're coming in hot, and we are excited about all the different things that we've got going on, just like I know you guys are excited about all the stuff that you guys have going on. Well, here's the deal. For some listening enjoyment and your Monday listening pleasure, we've got none other than Logan Manning with Earth Advocate. And I'm telling you what, this was a fun episode that we were able to record actually at Caleb and Brittany Allman's house. Logan's a really cool dude. I got to hang out with him and his beautiful wife Bethany all day long, and they are just some of the nicest, kindest people that you have ever met. They own a business down here in actually the same area as Caleb and Brittany Allman in Fairfield County, Ohio, and they have a company called Earth Advocate. They do a lot of mowing, they do some dirt work, some light landscaping work, and a little bit of everything in between, to be honest with you. And they have a jamming business. Logan and his wife, they have about 6 to 7 full-time team members, and their revenue is growing like crazy. Logan starts dropping some numbers towards the tail end of the episode, and you can just see that things are blessed, things are working, they're finally clicking for these guys as they are in their 4th or 5th year, I think, in business. So it's really cool to see just a young couple out there blazing a trail, making it happen and chasing it down and putting things together. They don't have it all figured out. Logan talks about that on the show. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're a young couple with a dream, some hustle, and they're putting things together. And it's just really cool to see how things are shaping up for them. So really quick, I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to the tour sponsors. You guys have been hearing this for the last 7 weeks now. So if you guys don't know, we have the correlating YouTube video that is actually showing their yard tour. And they just consolidate everything into an outdoor, kind of like a back industrial complex area with some fencing and just a stone driveway kind of an area, and we're able to consolidate everything. They're saving up their pennies to build a brand new shop here in the next 18 to 24 months, which is going to be awesome. But it was just great seeing the whole tour that Logan gave us. So if you guys want to check out YouTube later tonight when you guys are all getting home, I know we all cut grass during the day, and then what's not more exciting than going home later tonight and jumping on YouTube, right? And watching more people talk about mowing grass and the industry and the business as well, right? So, but long story short, we're going to see Logan's tour here later tonight on YouTube. But for right now, we've got the interview with Logan, and it's going to be a really good time. One last time, I want to say thank you to the tour sponsors. We had Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, Steel, and Yardbook that were able to just support this thing, underwrite this thing. You know, hotels cost money, gas money, plane tickets, food, dining, time away from the business. You guys have heard it before, but I don't want to gloss over it. We really do appreciate these guys, putting their money where their mouth is, if you will, to give you guys this great content, to give you guys this great quality, value-driven, information that can help you guys grow and motivate you and keep you guys kind of, busy, with your work out there, and keep you mentally engaged as well as you guys are out there running your companies. And maybe you can glean a couple different ideas and some takeaways from Logan here, as the guy has grown his company, like I said, grown his revenue by almost $300,000 in the last 18 months, which is insane. So any which way, we're going to kick it over to Muddy Mr. Producer, and we're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to hear a little bit more from Logan Manning of Earth Advocate. We'll catch up with you guys here soon.
You know the name, Equipment Defender. Now experience the safety and security for your lawn care setup with Equipment Defender trailer racks. These lockable trailer racks are designed to keep your equipment organized and secure without breaking the bank. Upgrade your setup and protect your investment with trailer racks that fit any style of trailer, both utility or enclosed. These E-coated racks are built tough to withstand the elements, all while working hard to keep your equipment safe and secure. Put an end to unnecessary equipment damage and theft today by investing in quality trailer racks that you can rely on. Use the promo code BRYANS10 to save 10% on all orders today at equipmentdefender.com. And a link is provided in the show description. Equipment Defender. We want to thank one of our presenting sponsors of the Shop Tour series. You know them, you love them, Yard Book. Whether you're just getting into business for yourself or you've been growing your company and need to get more organized, Yard Book is for you. A full-service CRM software to help you manage and track jobs, tasks, routes, and your billing all in one convenient web-based platform. And the best part? It's totally free. Take advantage of the CRM Brian uses to grow his business and take your company to new heights. Utilize their popular features like credit card on file charging, email estimate approval, and the new selling suite, fertilizer tracking, and so much more. Tens of thousands of law entrepreneurs just like you trust and rely on Yardbook to help them grow their company. So why not you? Sign up today at yardbook.com and don't forget to mention that Brian sent you.
All right, guys, we're going to jump right on into it here. We've got none other than the man, Logan Manning, here with Earth Advocate. Logan, how's it going, brother?
Going great.
That's going good, man.
Yes,
You're chill. You're calm. You're ready to roll.
Yeah, I'm finally relaxed for once.
It's been a long day, man.
Yeah.
We did the whole YouTube video. That turned out really, really well. If you guys have not got a chance, obviously first thing in the morning here, later tonight when you guys get home, hop on YouTube and check out Logan Manning's kind of shop tour, like outdoor. What would you call it? Outdoor yard where you guys have all your equipment.
Yeah, it's like all the equipment scattered to the four winds tour or whatever you want to call it. So.
Well, at the time of the recording, you guys were in how many different locations?
Well, 3 all in all is where all of different equipment is staged and stuff like that. And,
yep.
Just
everybody's life story.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't have enough room to put everything right now, and then that'll change next week. So
well, and then long term, you guys wanted to build a shop as well. You guys are shopping for some property, right?
Yeah, so 5 to 7 acres. Our shop's already designed, ready to rock and roll.
Cool
material list. I mean, we're ready to go, but originally it was a 40 by 60, and I took a look at that. I'm like, it's a little too small, even with we'll have an open lean-to off the back.
Okay,
but so we just upgraded it to like a 50 by 70.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it'll have 3 bays, and then it's going to have a loft in it too, with just like a little break room with some like cots for like a crash pad for like winter storms and stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be actually really cool.
Yeah, so there will be a little
that way your employees can never leave.
Yeah, I mean, they don't anyway. After work, they just want to hang out and talk, and yeah. So we'll have a refrigerator stocked there, full coffee bar like we do now, but just bigger scale, and probably like a microwave and stuff like that. And they'll have their individual lockers, and like I said, little bunks too. Because I mean, for seasons now, I mean, all of our employees are like family or actually family, and they'll be so tired after a big stretch, and we're like, hey, we're going out for another 12 hours and like 3-4 hours here. Wow. So instead of going home, they're like sleeping on my couch or sleeping in a chair, playing video games on my PlayStation and stuff like that. And so like, it's fun. I like winter because of that, because everybody's just like I said, we all my employees I grew up with, which is incredible. And you would think sometimes people say don't mix family with business, which generally is a good idea. But if you're employing the family, so one person is saying, hey, go here instead of like partnering in the business.
Sure.
As long as they're good people, it works out pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, like you have to have, like you said, good boundaries, good expectations.
Right.
And somebody has to know like, hey, I'm the boss. Like,
and they have to respect that too. Cause there comes times like, I've been a jerk and stuff like that. And sometimes it's, because they deserve it, sometimes not. But but I try to just handle everything like it's family, and that's worked really well for us because we're just all in it together, growing the business, and they like to see it go. And I was telling you earlier, my primary pleasure from growing a business is taking care of my guys. My goal is to make sure all of them are incredibly comfortable, happy with their job, and if I can accomplish that and make a good living for my family, that's the joy I get out of business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this really quick, man. Before we kind of go down the rabbit hole here, talking about equipment, business, life. Maybe get these guys up to speed, because I think last time we had you on the show was about a year ago.
Yeah, about almost exactly.
Yeah, 9, 10, 11 months ago. Because it was right before or right after you bought your Gal.
We had just bought it, the skid steer, yeah.
And when did you get that?
June, I believe.
Okay, so we're almost right at a year.
Yeah.
So here's your yearly update, right?
There you go.
But the show's grown a lot since then. It's blown up. Thank you all of you guys listening in. It's Lawn's Lessons Life. We're trying to help you guys grow more successful lawn and landscaping businesses. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe or follow or whatever you do on the podcast nowadays. But definitely leave us a 5-star rating and review if you guys are enjoying the show. We super appreciate that feedback. We read all of them. But just to get these guys up to speed, Logan. So where are you guys at today? What do you do? Maybe somebody didn't hear your episode from last year.
Sure.
So give these guys like the 2-minute, maybe high level, like who you are, where you're at, what you guys are doing, and everything about Earth Advocate.
Okay. Well, then starting off with the 2-minute rundown, and then we'll move on to where we are compared to last year. So, 2-minute rundown is we are Earth Advocate. We're located in Lancaster, Ohio now, but we service Lancaster, Canal Winchester, Pickerington, Ohio for our commercial maintenance side. And then on skid steer, we travel out further than that. But so we only do high-end, a couple high-end residentials, which are basically as large as commercial accounts. So it makes sense. But outside of that, we do strictly high-end, like A-class property, commercial maintenance, everything from turf to landscaping, installs, mulch, the whole 9 yards, and snow removal. And then the second division of our company is dirt work, basically, machinery work, soil, seed, straw, grading, driveway installs, anything you can do with a skid steer and attachments.
There you go.
So fifth season in business, started out from literally nothing with a couple Tractor Supply bad boy mowers and a $500 truck.
Wow.
Yeah, me and my wife both quit our jobs and had 3 months to either survive or go down in burning flames, because that's when our savings was going to run out. And within 3 months, we were able to support ourselves.
So you guys just hit it.
Yeah, I started cold calling everybody who would listen, and it worked out. So here we are. Like I said, 5th season later, and this year we'll get close to $700,000 in revenue.
Wow.
5 employees, plus myself, and another part-timer starting second week of June.
Cool.
We got 5 trucks, 4 commercial mowers, skid steer, oodles of trailers, and all kinds of the other stuff that comes along with it.
Well, we saw all the goodies on the YouTube video. So like we were saying earlier, if you guys later tonight remember to jump on YouTube, you can check that out and see the full tour and then the wrap up as Logan kind of put a little bow on it, so you guys can see like his whole setup and operation. And then we'll definitely come back down here in a year or two when you guys have the new shop and do the whole hoopla and see it all again. But so last time when we were catching up, you had just bought the skid steer.
Right.
And so how has that transformed and changed your business?
Incredibly. I had a vision for it, and I believed that it would happen, worked towards that end, but seeing it come to fruition is just incredible. So we bought the skid steer, and it was a huge move for us at the time because the brand spanking new $65,000 skid steer.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and we put a good chunk of change down on it, finance or us, but we basically bought that because we got an account with Ryan Holmes, developer, and then another local developer too. And at the time I bought it, I really only had like $1,200 a month in business.
Okay.
Like to do with just the skid steer.
Okay.
Of course, the maintenance side was doing a lot more than that, but but I was like, you know what, this is going to go somewhere. This is a good inroad, and that's how I've ran the business since the beginning. Hence the jump off the cliff and have 3 months to survive. So we bought the skid steer. And
which was a huge win for you, by the way.
Yes.
Like I remember you talking on the previous podcast.
It was massive.
You were struggling to get some financing. You're like,
just business only. Yeah, I mean that's the struggle was with establishing like any other business starting out, where it's just only in the company name.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Business credit.
Right. And so the business credit, that was our first purchase that was solely on business credit. There was no like personal guarantor or anything.
That's cool.
So
huge step.
Huge win for us. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, so I knew what the vision was. I knew what I wanted to do. I had a marketing plan together. I had a target audience. I had rough idea of what monthly revenue would have to be to sustain it and stuff like that. And the more immediate thing, since we were already later in the season, was, we're going to use this for snow removal and switch over to bulk salt instead of bag salt so we can load our bulk hoppers. So we did all that.
Yeah.
And ended up being a phenomenal winter for us. Definitely increased efficiency significantly. Also margin, obviously, going from bag to bulk is huge.
Okay.
So so that worked out great. And mid-winter, I started like selling, like just putting yard signs out, reworking the website to make sure that, we had all the kinds of, details in there that would get clicks for skid steer work and stuff like that. And my wife started putting together an ad campaign on Facebook, Instagram. We started running all kinds of ads and stuff like that. And people started calling fast.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous how many requests we got. And before we knew it, we were scheduled out 3-4 months.
Wow.
And, now we're scheduled through September. And I still have, a dozen projects out there that are still pending approval and stuff like that. So
wow.
Basically booked for the service year before we start getting into your end of season fall cleanups and stuff like that, which will ramp back and focus on all of that stuff. But we went from, I got $1,200 a month and I'm going to jump off the cliff and hopefully this works, to we're averaging anywhere between 35 and 40,000 a month in skid steer work right now.
Wow.
So we doubled the size of our business from last June when we talked last.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty impressive.
And you were talking some numbers behind the scenes, like you guys are cash flowing this thing, you guys are making money. Mm-hmm. You guys are very close to having everything debt free in the business. What's the horizon on that? You have to cough?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and cough.
All right, cool.
There you go. So I'll cover them for really
Sorry
quick.
about that.
Well, we're actually in the almonds office, so that's how we do it here.
Yeah.
They don't pause out the coughs.
I ate those crackers that Caleb gave me, and I got one stuck in my throat.
What was that Thin Mint thing that he gave you with the cream cheese?
It doesn't taste like anything. It just made me cough.
He's like, these are really good for you. It's literally paper thin crackers. I'm like, there's no calories.
It just flaked off in my throat, and I got. Yeah, it's like,
I think I give those to my daughter, like the little, they dissolve in your mouth.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe they're thinning it out. They're building the shop. They're on a budget.
I didn't know if you had the fancy cough button. Or
this is their mixer. I don't know. Let's hit one of the buttons here really quick, guys. Bear with us. Let's see what this one does. That's the intro. I think they have a.
That's some free advertising.
That's that one. I don't
very peaceful.
Oh, so I don't know what these all do.
If you say some funny crap, I'm gonna hit that.
There you go. So I'm not that funny, so. But this is the almonds mixer. We're actually in their office, and they actually, if anybody wants some photos of some quick chase deposit checks, you know what I mean, for their deposits.
Yeah.
I got a stack of deposit checks.
I got the
here.
routing number right here, and there's the account number.
Oh, that is their checking book. That's pretty good.
Post it on Instagram.
See if it's balanced. See how much money they have in there. You know what I'm saying?
Pull it up.
I don't even know how to balance a checkbook. It's my parents don't want to do that, but but we got the routing numbers and the account numbers. Sorry, Almond. It just seems like miscellaneous draw for like $30,000.
Right. Hey, a new update. I paid that skid steer off, man. It's a miracle.
You bought a second one.
Right.
Like, oh, dirt work's good, man.
Dude, running 2 crews, that just happened overnight. Like, it's weird.
Well, we're in their office because everybody's in the living room right now. We're about to grill burgers here. We're all just hanging out, and it's just fun. We're kind of chilling here Memorial Day weekend, and but that is funny right there. It's like, it's just put a little like $1,000 draw. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't miss it.
They say it's fuel. They're like, man, that's fuel prices.
Fuel prices are ridiculous. Made out to cash. Check paid to cash. Well, they let us confiscate their office here. But I did an episode with Caleb that I think will come out here next week, and I was joking. I said this room is probably 7 by 12 or 7 by 15.
Yeah.
And I said the shop you're building is 70 by 120.
Right.
So it's 100 times the size, right?
Pretty awesome.
I was like, and they were like, Caleb was like, dang, I guess you're right. Like, you know what I mean? To go from this like broom closet little office, you guys have seen it on Instagram 100 times like I have. I love watching their stories.
Yeah.
To having their huge facility. I mean, that's crazy. It's like a dream come true.
And they're so deserving. I mean,
I agree.
The work ethic and the sacrifice that goes into that, people never really will have a full grasp of they just see the fancy, like even on us, we get new trucks and attachments and skid steers, mowers and beautiful properties. And same with Caleb, like you don't see the grind behind it, and they're very much deserving. I'm super happy for him.
Amen.
It's awesome when his dreams come true.
Well, even if you try to capture it all on social media, from Instagram stories to feed posts to YouTube videos or whatever,
right?
It's still like you don't always get to capture the wrenching on equipment at 6:30 in the morning before the guys come in, or at changing lawnmower blades at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
doing the same thing that you guys are doing. Listen, man,
working 70-hour weeks and like being dog tired, and
yeah.
So, and that's a reality of it. Without one, you can't have the other, unless you got a rich daddy, and then you're not deserving. So
there you go. Which I don't have one of those, but if I did, I would probably still take the cheddar. But
you met my dad. I don't have a rich dad either.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I guess what do they say? Like, you either come from a wealthy family, or a wealthy family will come from you.
Yeah, but the nice thing about my parents is it was a different kind of wealth, and and they are very wealthy. But it was not strictly monetarily. We never lacked for anything. They took good care of us, but the kind of wealth that they gave us and imparted to us was the work ethic and the grit and the character and just being basically the entire foundation that's allowed us to now build a business.
That's so cool.
The joke about not having a wealthy daddy is one thing, but if you sometimes you can miss that's more important type of wealth than just monetary, because
Amen.
That's something that travels with you throughout life, where if they just give you a check so you can start a business, you don't appreciate it as much, I feel. So
100%.
So I guess we are wealthy in a way. So,
in that regard, 100%. My mom's the hardest working person I know. She's been retired for 2 years, and every time I try to catch her, she's like, "I'm busy doing something. I'm working. I'm doing this." I'm like, "You're busy now being retired than you were when you were working a job." Cabbing for my uncle. And,
I wonder where you get the workaholic gene then.
Oh, it's 100% for my mom.
Yeah, there you go.
1,000%. She's 70 and still out working kids, that are 20 years old. Like they just the work ethic today is pathetic. You check out like our parents or our parents' age, and it's wild. Like they're work. They save, they work, they budget, and kids today they're like, it's like, "Hey man, you want to work some extra hours, come in on Saturday, do a mulch job or do this or that?" They're like, "No, dude, but I'll take another day off midweek on a Wednesday. I got something to do." And I'm like,
it's incredible to see, because the equipment operator that I just hired, and you got to meet him today, he's 20-something years my senior.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he was a cool dude.
A true gentleman.
Yeah.
Cool dude. And that guy works, my gosh.
Well, it's Saturday and he's overhauling all the equipment.
Yeah, he's just just that he loves it, and he's it's really impressive, because he I mean, obviously I'm his boss, but at the same time is like, I've grown up around him and stuff like that. He's like a father figure to me, and I'm like, man, just like the work ethic that they have, and the cool thing about seeing somebody with like 20 years of experience on you, because he's been operating equipment for like 30 years.
Okay.
But is like their thought processes, because they've already done all of it at some point, and they find the best way, and they'll just do things second nature,
right,
that make things so streamlined, and you're like, holy cow, like
that'd be a great dude to bring in.
That's incredible. Like, I never thought of that.
It's going to be such a different dynamic bringing him into your team and into your organization. Right.
Because I was the oldest person in our company.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you're 30?
And I'm 30.
30.
Yeah, I just turned 30. So like, everybody in our company, like, we're all young,
right.
So my brother's 4 years younger than me, and he's the next oldest. And then, I've got, so like 20 up to 30, like that's as everybody. So now we enter, somebody with a lot of years of experience, and
he's like, rounding up all you kids, let's go.
Yeah, but he's incredibly humble too.
He was a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's like, if I need something, he's like, because I almost come to him like a father figure, and I'm like, "Do you mind doing this?" And he's like, "You're the boss." He's like, I'm here to help you." He's like, "We're so incredibly humble, like, and it's wild, when you're getting that position and you're running a company that's employing guys who are older than you, and it's holy cow. So it's crazy.
Well, tell me a little bit more about the dirt work, because you guys do mowing, you do landscaping,
right?
Dirt work. That's a new, a new thing that you guys are venturing into, but you've been doing it for a couple years.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of experience in it, but we just hadn't pulled that trigger for our company yet.
Well, and so maybe to actually take it back even to you. So you've been in the industry for you're 30. I say only, but you're 30. But you had been doing this since 17, 18 with the other
15,
company. 15.
Yeah, 15. I mean,
so talk about that, and then talk about how you guys are getting into dirt work now.
Sure,
because you've been putting your dues in, learning. This is not like something you just like.
I got a 15-year college education.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, from the beginning, 15, like it was your typical like kid in a mower. I got a mower off of my neighbor because I started mowing his yard, and he gave me a trailer, and it started with that, just pulling around, started getting accounts down my road and stuff like that. And during the 15 years, there was a couple little hiatuses where I was trying other things, and whatever it may be, but. In short, basically went from that to being employed, just a grunt worker doing a lot of weed whacking and stuff like that, to being a crew lead, and then running a crew and kind of setting my own routes and stuff like that. And then I went from there to a little hiatus to become it was still in like turf care and agronomics, but I was a driver, so I was driving semi with like fertilizer and stuff like that, and that was a really key thing in this path too, because since I was dropping fertilizer at all these different places, I got to know everybody in this area that was in the industry.
Wow.
In which most of them, if they're still in business, and even not so in business, I keep in contact with still, and I've networked with and gotten jobs off and given jobs to and stuff. And that was a key factor I didn't realize when I was in the moment, but now I'm like, holy cow, like I know everybody in this area.
Right.
And so I did that for a while, and that was really fun. I got to learn a lot about the industry because I got exposed to a lot of people in the industry, seeing how they did things and stuff like that. Then I had a very brief time at working in mortgage collections for Chase.
Okay.
Yeah, that was awful.
Chase. That's a different route.
Yeah, well, and that's why I did it, because I was like, I've been doing the same thing, and I was trying to think like a big boy. It's totally stupid, but I was like, need to get a so-called secure job, which Chase would be the last place you would think would. I mean, it's not secure at all. Like half the place got laid off while I was there.
Hey, bankers come and go. I can't build a relationship with a banker for the life of me.
They
come and go.
A miserable environment. I don't know how anybody works there, to be honest.
I think my longest relationship with one of my personal bankers has been 3 months.
Yeah,
or business bankers for real.
Yeah,
and from. And anyway, it was, different parts of the branch that you go in with a different door. It's like you walk in there still, and those people come and go too.
Right.
And you're like, I can't even email my same guy back because it bounces to somebody else's email. Like, hey, I'm taking Fred's emails now. Fred no longer works here anymore. I'm like, well, he was just working with me on this other deal, and they're like, yeah, he doesn't work here. I'm like, well, he knows my whole life story.
Right. Fred passed from anxiety.
Well, Fred retired.
He's on FMLA indefinitely.
Yeah, that's just it is tough though. But anyway, so you call on people's notes, like saying, hey, you're past due.
Exactly. So I was doing that basically. Collections, but there was a little bit more to it. Like I was doing introduction to modifications and refinances and stuff like that too. But anyway, I hated it every single minute. Hated it so much. And then I was working at my desk, and I saw at the time Brickman's, which is now Brightview, but Brickman's out there taking care of Chase's landscaping and mowing and stuff. And I was just watching them.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I miss that.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to be out there desperately. I didn't care what I was making, and so I quit. And I just I walked over to my I walked over to my supervisor's desk, and probably not the right way to do it, but I'm glad I did. I said I quit, and he's like, "Excuse me." I was like, "I quit. I'm done. I'm
just gonna leave.
I'm not gonna be back. I'm just gonna basically I'm gonna leave." And he told me, he's like, "Your numbers are super up. I mean, you're killing it. You're gonna have this bonus and stuff like that." And I was like, I don't care really. He told me what a huge mistake I was making, and how this was an opportunity for a good career and stuff. And I was like, we'll see, buddy. And I left. So God
bless him.
Yeah. And so I went from there to running I worked for a company that I'd already worked for a while, just to bridge the gap, and just kind of crew.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got an offer for a position as an operations manager for a pretty large company, and ended up taking that position. Worked there 3 years, and ran the whole company. I mean, everything from hiring, firing, estimates to scheduling and stuff like that. But that 3 years. I wasn't loving my job because there was a lot of problems at the company I was with, but I got a massive education because I was able to screw up and test markets and test sales techniques and look at clients and look at margins, stuff like that on somebody else's dime.
Yeah.
And I ran the company well, grew the company, but ultimately I ended up leaving there to start my own business.
Okay.
And the rest has been history. So
wow.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Other than the hiatuses, which, it was I guess the good that I could say came from that was it kind of highlighted the fact that this is what I really love.
Right.
And so other than that hiatus, basically, this is all I've ever done.
Well, take me to where you're at today then, because I think that's the biggest change from year over year. I'm sure you have more mowing clients, higher pricing, more snow work, all that fun stuff. Maybe we'll get you on again this fall or something like October, November, December, talk snow. Because you're using the skid for snow.
Right.
And how many plow trucks do you guys have out there on the regular? 3, it sounded like?
So let me count in my head here. We had
17, 18, 19. No, I'm just kidding.
Because I had subs too this past year. So we had 5 trucks, 2 salt trucks, 1 double to the sidewalk crew, and a skid steer.
Okay.
Last year.
Which is a sizable outfit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was nice.
And you guys were doing some great revenue in snow as well.
Yeah, we didn't get much snow, but when we did, we absolutely killed it in 6 weeks.
That's awesome. Well, talk to me right now about the dirt work. So a lot of guys listening, they're maintenance guys, myself included. We're mowing grass, kicking butt. There's a lot of landscapers, hardscapers that listen in too. But tell me a little bit more. What does dirt work mean, and what does that mean to you? What are you guys doing day to day?
Right. So dirt work, I mean, it's a generic term for basically anything that has to do with, using the skid steer to move dirt around or anything that has to do with installing something on dirt, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it just kind of boils down like a broad range of things. But to give you the itemized idea of what we do, we'll do new build construction, final grade seed straw.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We do a lot of those actually just down the road here to the left. We just did one last week.
Okay.
Literally 2 minutes away.
Yeah, I was saying like a couple houses down.
Yeah, exactly. And then we do a lot of driveway installs. Excavation, woven geotextile fabric, 2s and 57s on top, and that way people can, access new builds or pole barns or whatever.
Yeah.
We do pole barn pads. We do some stormwater runoff type stuff, which has primarily been to this point like retention ponds and reswaling. If there's been any sort of erosion, filling it back in and then putting in riprap to stop erosion in those points. So we've done quite a bit of that. Brush hogging, we have brush hogging here and there. Sometimes it's as simple as just moving dirt around.
Okay.
Then we use it for snow like we talked about. So that's the primary amount of the work. Now we still do other type of jobs that would be considered dirt work too that we can't exactly do with our skid steer. And, this is probably going to project what our next purchase will be, but we do some like mini excavator work too.
Okay.
Like downspout drainage, drainage to like, for instance, we got one coming up where this guy, we came in, he had a pool installed and then it was just left a mess, of course. So we brought in a whole bunch of topsoil, regraded his whole yard, seeded it and stuff like that. But he was telling me like the back of the yard got like really, really wet. And then he sent me a picture and it's like a freaking pond. I'm like, wow, that's more than wet. I mean, you got a pond back there.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have us come back and put in, NDS catch basins, take it out to, the stormwater ditch out front. So
okay,
we'll do a lot of stuff like that. We've planted oodles of trees. I mean, a lot of trees.
I wonder what the technical term for oodle is. Like hundreds?
Hundreds. So for me, oodles is hundreds. So far this season.
Oodles and boodles is thousands.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
So no, not to oodles and boodles yet, but we're definitely at oodles.
Oodles.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So a lot of tree work too.
Do you have like an auger bit, or do you rent that, or?
We rent it. So we purchased a super seeder, which is a sweet attachment for a skid steer. A Harley rake or soil conditioner, whatever you want to call it, from Quick Attach.
Okay.
And then I got to go pick up a brush hog, which I already I've already found it. I got to go grab it. And
yeah.
I've been too busy the last couple of weeks. Which brush hog season's getting ready to come up. But,
okay. Yep.
Anyway, so brush hog, and so anything that's like more of a one-off type of attachment that I need, like let's say. Planetary auger with a bit on it or something like that, then I'll rent it.
Okay.
And then just surcharge the customer, of course. So what we usually use for planting trees is, depending on the root size, of course, because you got to make the hole bigger and stuff. We'll just take some like green giant arborvitaes. We planted 56 of them, and we just use the planetary auger with a 36-inch bit.
Yeah.
Take it down, drop them in ball and burlap, obviously, and then stake it, and you can get a lot of trees busted out in a day with that type of equipment. I
mean, there's a buddy of mine back at home, Brett's Property Services. Shout out to Brett if he's listening to the show. And same thing, he did the exact same thing. He has a cat skid and rented the auger bit. I think a 24-inch one, maybe whatever it was. Planted. Actually, he didn't even plant the tree. He just did the holes.
Oh, okay.
And he did like 12 holes or whatever.
Right.
And then it was like $1,500.
Sure.
And I was like, he's like, yeah, I just did a $1,500 job, took 3 hours. And I'm like, wait a minute, one more time. What did you say? And so those numbers are just working on me. And I'm because I don't know if I want to do more pavers and patios and all that stuff like the Almonds do and the Andy Mullers in the J Squared Outdoors.
Right.
But I, believe it or not, like weirdly enough, niche wise, like we're moving more to the sticks.
Sure.
And the stuff that you're doing, I'm like, I would totally have way more fun.
There's so much work out there.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where we are. Like the area where people are getting a couple acres when they're buying and building stuff like that. Yeah. The job opportunity is massive.
Yeah.
I mean,
let that word, spread for a couple years. Cause I'm like pole barn pads to planting and digging up stuff and moving things. I'm like that. And I want to get a skid steer to justify it with snow.
Sure.
And I was telling you earlier and you're like, well, dude, I can help you keep it busy during the summer. But my concern was more keeping it busy during the summer.
Sure.
Cause I'm like, I can keep it busy during the winter.
Right.
Cause we have a couple commercial sites all right next to each other.
Sure.
And I could, whether I trailer it around, but hopefully just stage it on one site and just, drive it, quarter mile down the road. Not even. It would work great for some of our commercial sites.
Right.
But I could see me getting into more of that kind of work more than anything.
Right.
With the truck I have now, the new truck, the trailer I have, and then buying a cat or a bobcat or whatever.
For sure.
And
you can limit your scope too if it's just you and you want to have just seat time.
Yeah.
You could limit your scope. Like when we come in and we put in a driveway, we do everything. We source the gravel, the whole 9 yards. When we leave, they ready to pull on.
Yeah.
But you can, like, if it's something you're thinking about doing while the mow crew is out and you're getting it off the ground, basically.
Yep.
If you want to just basically stick to seat time, you can just advertise it as the excavation portion.
Okay.
So then you're just talking about like, dollar per hour play at that point, and you can say like, here's some referrals for stone and stuff like that. They can come and tailgate it, whatever you have, but I'll come in and I'll make sure everything's ready for your next step.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's different ways to tackle it if you don't have multiple guys on the crew, because you're talking about sourcing materials and multiple trucks and stuff like that. So
that's interesting. Well, when I'm ready to build my pole barn pad, I'm going to call you up and say, hey, I'm going to DIY this. How do I do it?
Sure. Yeah. Good practice.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have nothing but time, and then I'll be able to call the pole barn builder and be like, all right, your pad's ready to go. Yeah. Because I'm responsible for the pad, best I understand. Sure. So I got to clear that all out and make sure it's ready to go.
Right.
But I'm like, hey, Logan, what are you doing this weekend?
Are you going to pour a pad and then build basically like...
no, it'd be the other way. It would be the barn first.
Barn first and pour inside.
Then pour inside, yeah.
We've done both. So we're
okay.
Yeah, so...
What do they call that? Floating pad or something like that?
I forget the technical name. There's like...
Somebody listening is yelling at the radio.
Yeah, just tell us. We'll wait.
1 second. Okay, cool. Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's what I thought I was going to say too.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. But yeah, they're pretty cool too. So
yeah. Well, that's the idea is because somebody was like, why don't you just have Stanley Dirt Monkey come up and do it? I was like, that would actually be pretty dope. Right. I'm like, Stanley's probably got bigger fish to fry though too.
As long as he can cut you in a little of the YouTube money.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to pay me to come film at my house. Cut that check,
That's right. Cameo appearance. That's like
something, man.
Like a rapper now. You say, I need 3 bands if you're going to show them my video.
Is that a feature?
Yeah, you just get like a feature, but for YouTube.
Stan would probably charge me, bro. Just so you know, it would be the other way around. There's always a bigger fish, and I'd be like, "Hey, Stan, can I get a shout out?" Like, I'm not there yet. That's the other way around. I don't think Stan listens to the show, but shout out to you, Stan. I haven't. Stan doesn't text me back in 4 months, so
sounds like he's busy.
That's what I'm saying. He's busy, and then out of nowhere he'll call me and we'll talk for an hour, and then I'm like, "Hey, Stan, one more question." He's like, "Brian, I gotta go," and he just hangs up on me. That's how it works.
Yeah.
He's just go. But eventually you'll catch him at a good time and he'll like chill with you for a little bit. And usually it's when he's waiting for an airplane going to like World of Concrete or, whatever is going on.
That's a trademark of successful people though. I mean, it's like.
I'm the same way.
Well, I am too. And
it's like, don't bother me. I'm working.
And I was telling you about my buddy Ethan who has a directional boring company.
Oh,
He's only 27. He's running $10 million boring company and he's got over 1,000-acre farm as well.
Yeah.
And at 27, which is stupid.
And
that's
awesome.
How he is. Like, we're really close friends and stuff like that. But you won't hear from him for like 3 weeks. And then he'll answer your question like there wasn't that gap there.
Yeah.
I'm a communicator. Like, and my love is in sales and stuff like that. So I'm not nearly as bad about that. But there are times like if I'm in the heat of a day, it's like I probably won't get back to you till I next day when I can sit down and relax or over the weekend and stuff. Like, but I do have like this mental catalog of people that I respond. Obviously, if my wife texts me, I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
If it was you or Caleb or something like that. Now, if somebody just straight up calls me, I always answer because I don't know, because it doesn't take as much brain power to type. I don't know.
Well, here's one thing I'll say. The bane of my existence, and this is a personal idiosyncrasy of myself, is when people send me voice memos.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do a voice memo. So if anybody's ever sent me a DM on Instagram, don't hate me, okay? Like, I'm sorry. I'm a human too. But when somebody sends me a voice memo, I can't get back to those because they'll send me 4 59-second voice memos.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I don't have 4 minutes to listen to your message.
And you got to try to keep track of it and respond appropriately, not just be like, cool, sounds good. And they ask you 4 questions.
And then like the radio does something on the truck and it drops your 59-second voicemail and I got to re-listen to it. And I'm like, dude, just text me a paragraph or call me. Like you said, I'd rather just call me. But
I like the calling too. But the crazy thing about it is because I like another earmark of people who are running businesses, like I listen intentionally, but it can go straight out the other side because I have so many things bouncing around in my head.
Yep.
It's just like they're all trying to catalog for like order of importance. And so things that are just like passing get bumped out.
Sure.
And so like what I'll do is if it's important, I go back and I self-titled my iPhone, okay?
Okay.
And so basically I self-titled my iPhone personal secretary. And I learned this from my dad.
Okay.
And so I'll text my own number.
Yeah.
Notes on our conversation.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Actually.
And then it says, I just look for personal secretary at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And I look at all these notes, I text myself and I'm like, oh snap, I got to get back to that.
That's a good quick hack.
Right. Because like I tried other apps and like a notebook and like I tried to get all fancy with a real nice notebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take the time to write something down. So I just quickly hop on personal secretary.
Yeah.
Caleb's making faces at us.
Is he behind the window there? You just started like making these weird faces out of nowhere. I'm like, that was out of context. I'm like
wait a second.
I'm like, Logan's having an aneurysm in front of me, but
the stress was getting to me.
I was like, that's different. But
But anyway, it's a lot easier to just like talk because you know on iPhones you can just voice message.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be spelled right or anything. Like you just like to jog your memory at the end of the week. So
well, it's one of those things. Here, I'll show you mine right here. So like any of my videos I need to send to myself or memes or profiles or well, actually I don't know what I'm sending, so I don't want to show you everything because I don't know. So maybe I
want to see that one twice.
I need some lingerie for Liz. No, I'm just kidding. Just having fun. But that I send all those to myself because also I'll do it when I'm on the computer with the iMessage up. We have a Mac, so I'll send it to you know what I'm saying, like my own chat thing, so it'll be up on my phone.
See, my wife wants to get a Mac so we can integrate everything.
It's the way to go, dude. It's so like every document's on everything because of the cloud. I don't know, dude. I know nothing about technology anymore, but it's the way to go.
And we use Google. We have like a Google
Dropbox Drive thing.
Well, like the workspace package where it has all the apps.
Okay.
And so I forget exactly what it's called, but Google Calendar, me and my wife's is integrated. And like everything from like the kids, like last night, my daughter's preschool graduation to like, work stuff. It's all in there. So I make sure I don't like trip up and double schedule. So it's like I can look through and everything I enter it in from my side, she enters it in from her side, which I know we like see each other every day.
No, but still,
like
dude,
doing that and then confirming yes or not, it makes sure our schedules don't get bumped up. So
we integrated. Somebody showed us this a couple years ago. It might have been like, I don't know, B&B or somebody, dude, showed me how to integrate our Apple calendars together.
Sure.
So now when she marks something, it goes on mine and mine goes on hers.
Right, same concept.
So like it blocks it out. And so
we still use Google because we don't have a Mac yet.
Okay.
So
same concept.
Yeah.
Well, what we were running into an issue, and this is like similar but different, was me scheduling coaching calls.
Oh, okay.
Because I do like 3 to 4 coaching calls a week. So if you guys ever want a coaching call, holler at your boy. We'll link it up. I got another 2 next week, already on the schedule. And what was happening now when Liz and I were single, or not single, but it was just us, no kids.
Right.
It was less of an issue, but there would still be times where I'm like, hey, I got a coaching call at 6, and she's like, I thought we were going to dinner. And I'm like, crap. Well, let's go at 7. So back then it was like a quick apology.
Sure.
Life goes on. Quick call. But then it was like, I'm booking 4 or 5 of these things a week, trying to talk to everybody and help everybody out at night. Right. And she's like, I don't know when you're free and when you're not free.
Sure.
So it's kind of like, but they're also important because, well, I mean, 1, we're making money with them, but number 2, I want to help people.
Right.
Which 1 is number 2 and 2 is number 1. So I'm like, well, these are important. These people need help. I'm trying to, run a business here, take care of people, help.
Sure.
I'm saying they're a source of revenue for us as well. Obviously, I'm trying to help people and give them some great knowledge and wisdom.
Right.
But then it was one of those things where like we had to start getting organized, and it was weird.
That was the incubus for what happened with us too, because we're running multiple crews now and got a lot going on.
We got three
kids and school and all these different things, that life throw at you, and all great things. But the end result is like the most important thing above all of that is me and my wife's relationship.
Right.
And without that, the rest comes crashing down.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
We had this conversation. She's like, I feel like
I get the last of the end of your day.
Well, but basically that, but she also feels like I don't know what's going on. Like I feel like we're living separate lives.
Sure.
And the like what it boiled down to was
I don't know where
we couldn't exactly. We couldn't really commute, and she doesn't care you checking in where I'm at and stuff like that. But at the same time,
use the location finder thing on you.
No.
We have a couple friend that they have it on for each other.
That's not a healthy.
I'm like, that doesn't seem healthy.
That's not healthy.
Liz and I get back in the car. We're not like talking junk, but we're like get back in the car. I go, did you catch that part? And she's like, I was gonna say the same thing. They have like the Google, you share my location, but it's like always on, and I'm like, that's a red flag, bro. And whatever. And if you have that on with your relationship, it's like the people have like the joint Facebook account.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, somebody messed up.
We have, so Facebook. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have the joint Facebook account?
No, I don't have Facebook. So
insert foot in mouth.
No, but I have like the business in her is like the same thing because I hate Facebook. So I don't even have one. So I upload. So I have the business Instagram because I like Instagram. Yeah. And I'm the one out near the work usually and stuff like that. And so, but it automatically uploads to Facebook and I don't even have a Facebook. So it's all like tied together and stuff like that. Yep. But anyway, go back to it. She basically said like, I don't know, I feel like we're living separate lives and it's causing scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. And, she's incredibly sweet and supportive about all of it, but we're like, we got to figure something out. Because it feels like you're just running around like crazy. And it's like, well, let's make sure that we always know what's going on.
That's
so
cool.
That's how that was the incubus for ours too. Basically the same thing as that, happened with you and Liz. So.
I mean, we're running 1/5 of what you guys got going on, like with schedule wise. You got kids, multiple guys, multiple crews.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you have to communicate and know where each other are at.
Right.
Any which way, that's just, and then more recently, the last 12 months with having Liz be pregnant and then Emmy, we have a 9.5-month-old daughter. If you guys are new to the show, it's baby appointments, doctor appointments. So when she was pregnant, you go like once a month, for the first 6 months. And then, as you know, like it's like every 2 weeks for like the last 2 months. And then the last month, it's like every 3 days.
Sure.
And so she's like, you
can't miss those.
Dude, I batted like 9.5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. I mean,
out of like the 20 freaking appointments, bro, I made like 19 of them.
I mean, that takes into account for unavoidables, so it's basically 100.
I mean, let me just say that a little bit louder for around the bend here.
I'll yell it so they can hear us in the kitchen.
Well, hey, babe, listen to this part. Start at the 34-minute mark, or 43-minute mark. But I told Liz, I said that's pretty good, because we were driving past the place the other, I don't know, like a week or two ago, where we gave birth at a birthing center. And I said, dude, I made like almost every appointment for that. I feel. Just really quick while we're here, I just want to like pat myself on the back. She goes, no, you did. She goes, I was very impressed. And
that's huge when you're growing in a company. I mean, it's just like...
Well, it was a priority. I wanted to...
Of course.
Like you said, on her calendar, I'm seeing all these, baby appointments, whatever you call them. And they're my appointments just as much, right? Because like that's, we're doing this thing together. But it was tough to juggle all that, but it was a really important thing. But that's the kind of stuff I was talking about. Like we had to get more organized. We can't just run, by the seat of our pants,
Well, I mean, and that's the thing for workaholics, because I am self-titled, entitled by others, a workaholic as well.
There you go.
But unless you're incredibly intentional about what is priority, you will work yourself into oblivion, into not watching your kids grow up. You'll work yourself right into a divorce. You'll work yourself into mental breakdown from stress, and it's just you'll tell yourself the entire way, I'm doing this for my family, and maybe it's in your heart you are, but like you have to be incredibly realistic with yourself and be like, am I doing this for my family, or am I doing this to the detriment of my family? And then make sure that you recenter and just be intentional about putting them first. And that's a difficult thing to do, and I feel like I do it every single year, because, this time of the year comes up and it's like 70-hour weeks, and it's like, this has to get done for Memorial Day. And we talked about that earlier and stuff. And it's like at the end of it, like today or something, like just ignore your phone, refocus. Yeah. Spend some time with your wife, watch the new Stranger Things series. That's what we're doing.
There you go.
So, so it's, you have to be incredibly intentional about it. And it's exasperated if you have to overcome being a workaholic as well. So
I love what you're saying, dude. It's true to me. I don't know if anybody else listening can relate, but we're in the same boat. For example, this weekend, just to get down here, was getting chaos, hectic, because we had a bunch of stuff to wrap up. Sure. Liz had some responsibilities back at home, and I'm like, no, like you need to come down. You need to see the Mannings. You need to see, the Almonds. Like, come hang out, please. Like come on this road trip with me. Like, this is a fun adventure. It's not my thing. It's our thing. Sure. And so she was like, I'm in. Then she's like, I'm out. I'm in. I'm out. I'm in. I'm out. Because baby life, this, that. And at the last second, she's like, fine, I'll go. Like, okay, cool. Like, not fine, I'll go. But she's like, it's just a balancing act of responsibility. Sure. And I was like, but you got to come down. It's going to be awesome. But I said, Liz, like, you need to get out of the house. You need to pull away. You just need to get away.
That's hard with a baby, though.
It is. I
mean, you're like in your own little.
This is our first road trip with her. Yeah. And she did pretty good. I give her a solid B. She had like little spat, but we used her sleep windows for the drive time. So we had a good 3-hour leg, and then I got a hotel, and then the next morning we drove an hour and a half or so yesterday. Right. So it all kind of worked out, but she can fly well. We know that, but she does not like her car seats. We bought a new car seat recently, one of those like swivel ones, and she doesn't like it anymore. So I just don't think she's a car seat girl, but which is fine. Blink and she'll probably be out of that thing in just a handful of years. Hey, really quick, we're gonna wrap this thing up here in a quick minute, but hard pivot.
Sure. Change
the topic. Not too often I get people on the show that have total like really cool mutual similar interests.
Right.
We're talking about watches.
Okay,
so listen, if you like watches, you want to talk about cool things for like the next 5-7 minutes with us, hang tight. If not, there'll probably be no value after this for you. Okay, so you can go to the Kid Contractor podcast. Yeah. But let's talk watches for a few minutes, because we're at where did we go for breakfast?
Scrambler Marie's.
What is it?
Scrambler Marie's.
Is the Marie's? What's the Marie's part?
Well, it's because that's like named after a family member. It's a local. It's not a chain. It's actually a
independent place.
Well, there's several of them, but it's
like a regional place.
That's one of the originals, and I cannot. What's it called when you like buy into a
franchise?
Franchise. Gee whiz.
Mr. Businessman. We doubled our business last year, but
I don't franchises. So.
Well, so we had
French fries. That's what I was trying to say. So anyway.
we had a 3-hour breakfast.
Yeah.
I should have tipped the girl another $20, bro. Like we rented her table like all day. She didn't even come back after. If you noticed, she didn't come back for that last hour. She's like, "You guys go now," you know. Yeah. But we're talking watches, so wherever you want to take it. But I had Owen Edema with. I forget Owen's business's name, but it's probably like Edema Landscaping. Sure. But Owen Edema was a really cool dude. We were talking watches and Breitlings and Rolexes, Hublots. And I was like, dude, what's your dream watch? And all this stuff. And he was dropping names of different watches. Some I knew, some I didn't know. So anyway, you're a watch guy. You have some cool ones now. You want to get some nicer, cooler ones later.
Right.
Talk watches for me 2 minutes. What do you got on the wrist right now? Like the watch game is strong here.
Yeah. So I mean, I got the Helgray Le Mans 100 millimeter diver watch on today. It's
today because I got other ones.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so it's rose gold with a multicolored NATO strap.
Yeah.
So
that's sharp.
Yeah. So it's got the triple subdials and date on it.
There you go.
So this was a Father's Day present, actually.
Oh, there you go.
It's got a tachometer on it as well, but Father's Day present because I got spoiled. I had seen it. It's like it's not a super pricey watch, like a $400 watch, but
yeah.
I'd been like drooling over it because I saw it as a boutique brand, and I was like, I'm terrible about spending money on myself.
like you don't or you do?
I'm terrible about doing it. Like I'm not a tightwad. Like I'll spoil my family to death, but I'll struggle over spending money on myself. Like I'll do it eventually, but it'll take me like months. And my wife would be like, why don't you just buy it? I'm like, I'm still thinking about it, So like, anyway, she surprised me for Father's Day. And so I've got
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've got a rose gold Shinola, which is from your area.
I think you sent me a photo of that.
Yeah.
When you got it.
And that was my wedding watch. So
okay.
When we got married, I wore that watch and
I think we did our podcast and then you sent a photo maybe after on Instagram or text. I'm like, dude, send me some photos or what do you got?
Yeah.
And then Bethany was she was having fun. That's your wife. She was having fun. She was well, look at mine. So she's doing the thing too.
Yeah,
and
she's got a couple Shinolas, and then I did have a couple, but I lost one boating. So,
oh no, for real?
Yeah, it was like $700 watch.
That's a sore. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was rough. So I was we were boating, and I was with my buddy Ethan that I was talking about.
Yeah, and
we're behind his boat, and he has a sick boat, and is going super fast. And I was on an inner tube, and for some reason I'm wearing a $700 watch on inner tube, and I smacked the water so hard about knocked me out. And when I finally came like above, it was gone.
No,
like, oh my gosh, I was so mad.
That's a bad day of tubing.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I have to buy another one. But so I had a couple of those. I got one Shinola now.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple other like smaller boutique brands. I really like the boutique brands because they got some individual personalities to them. So like one I have is an automatic, which is really cool, and it's got subdials and stuff too, but you can see straight through the casing, so you can see the workings of the automatic and the pendulum and stuff like that. It's basically skeletized.
Cool.
But so that one's pretty cool, and then trying to think.
Well, here a question. Fast forward going forward. What's something that you want to get? Like if you get the dream board and something on the wall that you want to get. You're hanging the Ferrari poster on the wall of watches. What's something that you want to get or
Sure. So my wife has a nice collection too, but I'm getting her baby Breitling. Because that's not a super expensive introduction like high end luxury watch. So baby Breitling for her 42 millimeter. Diamond and mother of pearl subdial.
She showed me a photo of that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
5-link bracelet and stuff. So that, and then, but it kind of bounces back and forth. I really love the Baume & Mercier.
Okay.
Baume & Mercier makes a rose gold, which rose gold, I guess nobody knows on here, but rose gold is my thing. Like
that's cool. You wear it good.
Nobody else does it.
You wear it good. I don't know if it's the complexion or the hair. I don't know.
Rose gold is my thing, but Baume & Mercier makes a really nice rose gold watch. Beautiful. So that's one I bounce around, but the other one would be, which is a totally different price point, but would be your Rolex, and it's the chocolate dial and rose gold. So,
that would look pretty dope.
Yeah, I really like that one.
What's the price on that one?
I mean, so right now it's like,
if you guys know luxury watches,
yeah. So what is the price, or what is the price right now? So 25, but the price right now is like 42.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
So retail's 25, and then going like market price.
Yeah, I mean, I could have got one for like 25. It's like a couple years ago, but
that's wild.
Yeah, so that would be probably my Apex watch. I really do like I like the Breitling you showed me, but also they make the Navitimer that's in rose gold, which is really cool.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if you've seen that, but it's a Navitimer black face. It's rose gold.
Is it a new one?
Relatively new. I saw it in New York.
They just
we were in New York over a year ago.
They just redid the Navitimers. So I have the blue leather strap one with the white face. Yeah. It's like the iconic Navitimer, the blue and white one. I've wanted that one for a long freaking time.
Yeah, very nice.
They just redid it, the whole Navitimer line. Yeah. So Corey Ballard's a big watch guy, so him and I are texting watches all the time. He's a watch nut. If you guys ever watch his like Ballarding videos, it's like, hey guys, Corey Ballard here, Ballard Products, and he's got a different watch on at a time. Yeah. Look, he's worked hard, he's made his money. Like, so you got to play hard too, right? And so he's always building my dream, and I'm like, because I'm always like zooming in, and he's got like the Bell and Ross and this and that, like all the different watches, and I'm like, and I know which ones they are because I'm a nut, and but I'm like,
I've always loved watches.
I'm like, who cares about the Darwin's grip? Show me the watch. So what do you got right there? Oh, wow. That's actually pretty dope. A Breitling Navitimer B01, 43 red, gold, and black leather strap. Wow. So it's a black leather strap and then a rose gold bezel with a white face.
Yep.
That's sharp. You could dress that up or down.
That's one that I really like too. So like, I think realistically the next attainable watch is probably the Baume & Mercier because of, just the price. But, when it comes down to the time, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go with this Navitimer or like the Rolex. I mean, gosh, they're both so beautiful. And the appreciation, like people are like, oh, why you buy an expensive watch? People who say that don't understand expensive watches. Like the fact that they've appreciated more than real estate in the last 2 years. It's one of the most secure investments and has been, decade after decade.
Yeah. So, Caleb Allman was messing with us. He's like, I got this G-Shock, and we're like, shut up, Caleb.
He says he's going to go buy a fancy SpongeBob watch, remember?
Yeah. He's like, you guys talk about your watches for half hour. Caleb's like, I'm going to go use the restroom.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're a watch person, you love watches. If you don't love watches,
you're lost on the last part of this.
It's like, I'm not going to convince you at the same point, like, either have the bug or you don't.
Right.
Like, you're either into it or you're not. And Caleb's like, well, what makes somebody into watches? I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
An appreciation for craftsmanship. I mean, the same thing as like people who are into,
a classic
nice cars and stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a bug that's always got me.
Yeah.
And I kind of rubbed off onto my wife because I bought her a couple of nicer watches and stuff, and that's
created a monster.
Oh yeah, now she's got to have the baby Breitling.
Well, I messed up too because same boat. Like you spin the dream, and I'm like, Liz, you can get what I want to get you something nice. You can get whatever you want. Blah blah blah. Right.
Yeah.
And so now there's like a white like kind of summertime Hublot that she wants, and I'm like, well, I didn't mean that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what happens. Like you start spinning the dream, and then they catch on to the dream, and then they're like, oh yeah, dreaming's cool. Luxury things are nice.
It's
like,
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like who wants a RAV4 when you can get a Volvo XC90. Right. And then who wants a Volvo XC90 when you can get a Cadillac Escalade Platinum Sport for $112,000? And I'm like, hey, you need to like kind of, rein that in a little bit. And then
you're getting crazy now.
Yeah. It's like,
my wife's purses too.
Liz's purse. I did the purse thing.
Yeah.
Because dude, we were so broke for so long.
Right.
When we finally started making money, I was like, if you buy purses, we'll never get out of debt. We'll never get our cash.
Sure.
We'll never get our equipment paid for it. Like it's just you can't do it all at once.
Right.
I'm like, just give me
you
5.
Gotta be smart about it. I mean,
I was like, give me 5 years and I'll buy you whatever you want. And then 5 years later, she's like, knocks on the door. She's like, hey, pay the piper, So she wasn't like that, but I actually was like, hey, thank you for not gnawing the back of my mind for 5 years about all your friends who are
Louis Vuitton. Yes.
Yeah, all of your friends all of our friends. They were back. I'm not judging anybody, but everybody's broke. They're newlyweds and young couples, and they're all buying Louis, and they're all empty. And I'm like, Liz, like,
see, my wife doesn't like Louis or Gucci.
Oh well, there you go.
I got her a Valentino.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. Is that expensive?
Yeah, but I mean
don't keep the wife separate. Don't let that creep into my wife now.
Valentino. So she likes stuff that's like you don't see it as much, all right? So Dior, Valentino, Fendi, stuff like that.
Fendi,
so,
yeah.
So she's got, you'll see it out there, but she got the Valentino purse. It's pretty
No, she won't see that. We're gonna send your wife away.
I mean, it's out there right now. It's on the table.
Liz probably always, as soon as we get in the car, Liz is gonna go. Just see what she had.
Valentino.
I want a Valentino.
It's too. It's a kind of a little purse too, so it's perfect size, like
little clutch thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like bigger than a clutch, but I don't know what the heck they're called.
I don't know,
like, but
mid-size.
Yeah, you can fit a small, like a normal size book in it.
Is that right?
I don't know what that means,
dude? We so when we went to Chicago to buy her first Louis Vuitton, because we wanted to make this a hoopla. We could have went like 2 miles down the road to like the corner mall, and there's a nice mall by us, actually, like 2 miles down the road. We could have went and bought it there or at another mall called Somerset by us. But I was like, no, let's go to Chicago. There's some other themed stuff that we loved with Chicago. It was like one of our first date anniversaries, we call it.
Right.
We did this like 30-day date anniversary thing. It was really weird. But so we went to Chicago. So we like relived it, 9 years later. And I'm like, hey, let's go back to Chicago. Like this was one of our first date things.
Right.
We'll buy a Louis Vuitton there. And I just wanted to make it more special for her, right?
Sure.
Because she had paid the price too. And so anyway, we were there and hanging out. But ironically enough, there's like Chanel. Is that the other brand? Mm-hmm. Chanel. Yeah. And we walk across into the Chanel store, and this very, very gay guy was like, hey, the whole thing, working the counter. And he was a really cool dude. He's funny as hell, actually. But he was as, whatever as you can get. And he's like, hey, girl, oh my God, I love your purses.
Those are the best salesmen, right?
Dude, he was a pro. Yeah. Like, this guy went in like a killer. And I'm like, I like this guy, and
absolutely.
He had me hooked. He had her hooked. And he's like, here's my number. Like, call me anytime, the whole deal. But he starts pulling out all the different, I don't even know the material, like alligator and
who knows,
dude, I don't even know, paca, llama, right. All this stuff is like, and it's the whole
Siberian squirrel.
Dude,
this is this
all of it,
the heck
Logan, all of it, and there's no price tags in anything, and it's the whole like if you got to ask thing,
then get out of the store,
basically. And I was like, hey, I was like, relax, dude. How much? I go, how much is that thing? And he goes, lucky for you, today it's on sale. Whatever. Right. It's not on sale. He's like, lucky for you, we have one of two. There's only like 3 in the whole store, and like we have one right here. And he's working it, dude. And he's like, this one's only $5,500.
Right.
And I'm like, come again?
Gasp.
Yeah, I was like, and Liz goes, that's a good deal. And I was like, you both need to knock it off right now. I was like, what are you guys talking about?
You're like, it is. You're right. You should get it then. Just like, dude, with your card.
yeah, with your card, buddy. I was like, I'm not here to pay your rent this month with this purchase. But what was funny though, like you're in there and it's nothing but old freaking wealthy people. It's called the Gold, what they call it, Gold Coast, Chicago.
Okay.
So it's like all money. And
old money, yeah.
Everybody there's got money, and there's Tesla dealers, and there's a Lamborghini Chicago's right there.
Oh, that's neat.
Super cool place to visit. Everybody there was actually really cool because I talked to the Lamborghini dealer manager. He's like, hey, whenever you're ready, here's my card. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a long time. He goes, believe it or not, dude. He goes, you get a Corvette, then you get the Huracan, and then you get the Aventador. He goes, it actually happens a lot quicker than you think. And I'm like, all right. So, but he was like believing in me. He's like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome.
Like, he's like, run your companies, man. And but it was crazy because we're in the Chanel store or whatever, and there's like some lady just buying like 4. And she's got a little like dog with her, and I'm just like, dude, this lady's dropping
4 purses for you.
Like that's what I made like a year ago. You know what I mean? Like she's dropping $25,000, and then what was the other one that was there? Some other bag. It was like you have to be like invited in to buy these things. And is that what it is? It was like a Birkin or something like that. And Liz is like, yeah, these purses. I'm like, how much are these? Like $6,000. If those are 5, these are 6. She's like, no, Brian. She's like, you're so closeted. Like you don't even know what you're talking about. She's like, these bags are $25,000 to $50,000 to $500,000.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, come again? And so she was showing me some YouTuber like Charlie somebody. I don't even know. And he's got all these different bags, and I'm like, what is happening around here? So anyway, for all of you guys that want the luxury life,
dystopia.
Yeah,
all the guys who want the luxury life, and then that kind of brings me back around to that guy at the Lamborghini thing, saying like, hey, you start with a Corvette, and you just get to this and this, and just keep doing what you're doing. Like, these conversations, like, not to sound pretentious or anything, that's not the goal, and because there's been like.
The lean years.
I told you, like the first year, it was like, holy crap, like holding on
for dear life. And it's been that way. I mean, even last year we had a few cash flow emergencies. It's just like, golly. Yep. But, it's more of an encouragement and kind of like, hey, the nice things are great. And, and dream and look forward to
putting your wife in the nicest pair of heels or a new handbag and a nice SUV and stuff like that. Give yourself something to work towards. Don't think of it as pretentious and keep yourself small-minded.
Right.
Look for those things and opportunities to get to the place you want to be. Like, hey, and when you're there, you're going to appreciate it so much more, and then you won't be, some pretentious wealthy guy. You'll be like, I came from the dirt and mud, and I'm grateful for these things, and here I can help you too. So,
100%.
And that's like, the watches are nice and everything like that, but I mean, that's talking about what we did earlier. Kind of started with people don't see the literal blood, sweat, and tears like breaking down in panic attacks because you don't know how you're going to feed your family sometimes. Like, because that check came 3 days late, and you're like, I just paid payroll, but now how am I going to get groceries? Like
100%
happens.
100%. Yeah, you get the call. Hey, the bank's calling because I can't check out at the grocery store.
Yeah,
we've been there. Yeah. We're like, hey,
how are we going to get gas?
I have literally we've been there way too many times to count, more than we should have. If we would have got our head on straight earlier. You guys know my store listening. The first 10, 11 years were not very good.
Well, the first 5 years are going to be, and in our case, it's kind of 5 seasons. It's weird. It's skewed in the industry. But the first 4 especially are going to be, even if you're doing really well, you're going to have cash flow nightmares and stuff like that.
Yep.
No matter how much money you're making. But,
one day there's 20 grand in the account. The next day 20 grand got sucked out.
Gone. Yeah. I mean, it happens constantly. So, but 5 years, if you really put your head down, consolidate your cost, reduce your overhead, focus on margins. Year 5, this is our 5th season, it starts to pop off. Yeah. I mean, it's like day and night difference. Yeah. And, we honestly, from just because I had so much experience, it's an atypical story with basically getting experience on somebody else's dime. But the 3rd year in is when we really started to say, like,
make some headway.
Hey, we can, get a nice car, get a new truck, or let's go on a vacation once every 3 months and stuff like that.
Right.
But that was because I was able to get the education for years and years prior. So that's atypical. But, 5 to 10 years is typical before you're really able to launch. So just an encouragement for, everybody listen in, like, dream about the luxury things, be grateful when you have them, be happy for people who get them, if they've got them, like, especially if they've got them through blood, sweat, and tears. Yep. But know, like, you have to hold on for the long ride, and it's going to be immensely painful until you get to that point, and then you're going to, then don't take it for granted or be a snob. Like,
then you know what? Here's the answer too. To piggyback off that, keep paying dues. Because I always say, like, one of my go-to quotes is like, you never quit on success. You can only rent it, and the rent is due every day. Exactly. So just because you start cash flowing in year 5 doesn't mean you can't go rogue and go stupid. And
you have to continue, nurturing those relationships, discipline on cash flow and on reducing overhead, and like like I was telling you, within 2 years, we're we'll be debt free. We'll be like 70% of the way there by the end of this year.
Yeah,
and that means there's no overhead other than payroll. Yeah. So
so cash flow on this thing.
Cash flow. Yeah, I mean
that's awesome.
So that's it's just it takes incredible self-discipline sometimes, because you'll see that $10,000 check from that landscape project hit, and you'll be like, I'm going to go get lobster and steak and, buy drinks for all my buddies, and, I'm going to buy my wife a new whatever purse, or go buy let's just even say it's a $1,500 tag or something like that.
Yep.
And then, you're feeling great about yourself. Yep. And then next month you're like, I can't pay rent.
Yeah, that's not.
That's so.
We don't
like,
want you to do
just
that.
Be disciplined, because it will come. But like it's ever important to be that way, diligent to the diligent shall prosper. It's just a role of the universe, and
that's right.
Visualize what you want, work for it. Don't do stupid things or buy stupid things you don't need before you can afford them. So,
well, dude, I love all of it. It's I was sharing with you at breakfast. I bought I always wanted to buy like my 10-year in business watch, because like statistically speaking, everybody fails in the first 5 years, and then whoever's left, everybody else fails at 10 years, right? We've all heard the stat. And so I was like, my goal is to make it 10 years, and I'm going to make it, right? Well, I wanted to buy myself like a nice watch. I call it my manager's watch.
Sure.
My 10-year in business watch. Well, it took 13 years to get my 10-year in business watch.
Right.
And I was like, and Liz was like, you got to buy this thing. Like you've been, hawking at it for 13 years.
Right.
And I was like, no, like, like even then, like money was finally getting gooder. And she's like, you got to buy it. I was like, no. Like even then I was like, no. But she's like, you have to reward yourself because our store was like
you can't keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. At some point you got to be like, hey, and also like,
because I'm like you, I don't want to spend money on me. I'll spend money on her.
Pretty bad about it. Like, but
yeah.
There's a guy that I was reading. He said, I wish I could remember the guy's name. But anyway, I was reading about his story and stuff like that, and he says, I'm not recommending anybody does this, and I'm definitely not recommending anybody does this in our industry, especially. I mean, he was in like finance and stuff, but he said, I always bought the most expensive car that I could finance.
Okay.
And he said that his reason behind it was because he didn't want to keep moving the goalpost, and he said if he knew he had to get this certain amount of income to afford this car, he basically, and obviously it was just a percentage of his income, not like his whole income was going towards the car, but to justify purchasing it based on a budget and stuff.
Yeah.
He says it made him work so much harder, and that's how he did it.
So like, there's some merit to that though.
Yeah, there is. And like, I think it's just being willing to take a risk. I would not recommend doing it on a
red line like that.
Depreciating asset like that.
Sure.
Has no real upside as far as return on investment. But for him, arguably, it was return on investment because it made him work harder, But it's interesting, like you're saying, like there's things that you have to reward yourself sometimes, and you have to say, like, when I get here, I'm going to do this. Because when you set those goals, at the time you set them, usually it seems unattainable.
100%.
But it's going to make you work so much harder to say, like, hey, within 2 years, we're going to have 7 acres in a shop and, this, and this. And it's the same thing as like visualizing. You're like, I'm going to work myself to death because if I don't meet that goal, then I'm disappointed in myself.
That's right.
And I've already told, my wife this is going to happen. She going to believe in me if I don't do it now? Like,
I mean, there's something about putting your dreams out there, right, to the right people.
Not just like blasting them.
Yeah, to the internet, they're gonna laugh. I did, and they all laughed, and then I bought the Tesla. It's like,
jokes on you. Bro.
Jokes on you, bro. Like I said, don't short my stock. That'd be a horrible idea.
Fed by my haters.
I saw it. It's like one of those like motivational ones. It's like people aren't surprised that you made it. They're surprised that you just kept making shit happen or whatever it was. And I told him like, yeah, dude. I'm like, don't bet against me. I'll work harder to prove you wrong, right?
Yeah, the more motivating factor on top of everything else.
All the time, I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong and prove my wife right, is what I said at LAL last year. So that's my MO. But any which way, dude, Logan, this has been great. Thanks for sharing. We're gonna turn
into like Joe Rogan podcast. We just start talking about everything.
Talk about life, man. Like it's like a Post Malone episode or something over here, But where can people find you really quick, and we'll button this thing up?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram at Earth Advocate Ohio, and we're on Facebook too. But basically, Instagram's a go-to.
All right. So, is that an hour and 10 minutes?
It is.
Holy cow!
Isn't that crazy?
That's why I said we didn't even hit record. It's the green button. No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh my god,
that would suck.
I would just
be like,
I'm going home.
Tough luck, Fullerton.
I'm watching Stranger Things.
There you go. All right, well, hey, guys, give Logan a follow. Check out his YouTube video tonight that we did on the shop tour and his outdoor setup and all of his equipment. It's a really cool tour and really fun time. And then again, thank you for just opening up the day, taking time out of your schedule. You guys could have been landscaping, mulching, doing anything, making money. So thank you for real. I always say to the people, like, I don't want you guys to like have to host and me be like a celebrity diva over here. Like I'm like, hey, you want me to get a trimmer? I'll go trim some grass. Let's go wrap this thing up. I need 2-3 hours in and out.
No, I needed a day off. Like I said, I was at 70 at the end of the day.
You're like, I'm tapping out. Yeah. 70 in 5 days. That's a stout work ethic, man.
Yes, sir. So,
well, thanks again, brother. Well, guys, we'll button it up right here, and then if you guys want to hear a little bit more of Logan's story, we did the same episode the same time last year. We'll try to leave that in the show notes if we can, but if not, it's probably episode like 150, 170, something like that.
Same episode, different content.
There you go. Yeah, it was really good, and I don't think you had all the same watch talk last time, so things are getting better.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. I'm gonna be like you one day with the watch collection. So, all right, guys, we'll button this thing up right here. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and we'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Hey guys, Brian here. I get asked all the time, what's the best work shoe or boots for our industry? As some of you probably know, I absolutely love wearing the Cujo Yardwear. A few years ago, I was wondering why there isn't some sort of light, functional shoe for the lawn care industry. Literally a couple weeks later, I get a message from this new company, Cujo Yardwear, letting me know about the new shoe they created for lawn care. I couldn't believe it, so I tested them out for the first year and have been wearing them ever since. Me and my guys love the Cujos because they are light, comfortable, they keep our feet dry and have a great grip, and they're breathable. Plus, they're a family-owned company. Sean and Kelsey are a brother-sister team that seriously care about offering the best products for our industry. They started with the yard shoes, came out with the X1 composite toe boots, and are launching a new slip-on shoe this year. Check them out at Cujo.com. That's Kujo.com. And don't forget to use Brian's 10 to save 10%.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.